Scorpio, this is Natalie from Inspired Alignment. I'm coming today to do a reading for the first half of September. This is going to be from the 1st until the 15th, and I will come back like more towards the middle of September to try and do a reading for the second half of September. So this reading is going to be a little bit different from the ones that I've done in the past. I am going to pull 3 cards for your energies for the first half of September, and then I'm going to pull 3 cards for the person that you are dealing with or thinking about for the first half of September. So this could be a significant other, this could be like a divine masculine or a divine feminine, it could be a friend, a co-worker, a family member, just whoever you are thinking about at this time or interacting with the most at this time. So I kind of planned on these readings being a little bit shorter since I was only going to focus on the first half of September, and it's a different kind of a reading, but it seems that they're still going like a half an hour long. So you know, I guess that's just how it wants to come out, so hopefully everybody's okay with that. I also wanted to talk a little bit about some of the energies that we've experienced. So July and August were a little up and down for everybody, for the collective. We dealt with a lot of ups and downs in our emotions. We dealt with a lot of things astrologically that took place, like we had, you know, the eclipses, the Lionsgate, the wrapping up of things that took place last year. So just a lot of different things have been going on for everybody in these last couple of months. And, you know, people are starting to really kind of figure out where they need to be, where they want to go, who is going to be in their life, who isn't, really kind of getting a hold of, you know, what it is that they're going to be doing. And we do have the full moon in Pisces coming up tomorrow. So this is going to be, you know, Pisces is a water sign, so it can be a very emotional time, especially for other water signs or people who have water in their chart. So, you know, this is like kind of the culmination of all of these things that we have been experiencing pretty much throughout the summer or, you know, throughout the last year even. So this is going to be kind of like a turning point for a lot of people. We're going in from the summer into the fall, and you know, I feel like this is a time, you know, September is going to be a month where people are really starting to ground into, you know, what it is that, you know, they want to do or who it is that they have become. And, you know, really kind of standing in that power and working with, you know, these new things that they have been integrating over the last few months, really working with that stuff in the real world, in their life. So, you know, September is going to be, I think, a little bit less, you know, tumultuous or turbulent than some of the other months prior, but it's still a very important month because this is going to be the time where you are really starting to stand in the truth of you, the truth of who you are, figuring out who's going to be in your life, who isn't, and this full moon in Pisces is going to you know, kind of shed some light on some of those things, and it's going to kind of be like a turning point for many people. So I am going to get started with the sign of Scorpio. Okay. Spirit, what messages do we have for the sign of Scorpio for the beginning of September 2018? What messages does Scorpio need to know for the first half of September 2018? What are the important messages that Scorpios need to know for the first half of September 2018? What energies are Scorpio going to be dealing with? What energies are going to be around Scorpio? And what energies are Scorpio going to be in during the first half of September 2018? Okay, so the first card I have is the Nine of Water. The second card is the Seven of Water. And then we have the Ace of Air. And then underneath the deck, we have the Eight of Fire. Or I think, is this fire? No, the Eight of Water. Sorry. Okay. So what I see here for Scorpios during the first half of September is that, well, for one, I see a lot of water here. So, you know, I did mention that this full moon in Pisces could bring up, you know, a lot of emotional things. So you could be experiencing that now, or you will be experiencing it like over the next week, maybe, you know, even into like September here. But what I'm seeing is that, you know, Scorpios have had, you know, some desires and wishes that they've really been kind of seeking guidance on. And this is emotionally connected. So, you know, this is like, you know, like some kind of emotional fulfillment that you have really been hoping and wishing for. And I mean, I feel like, you know, you may have been, you know, connecting to like your higher self, or, you know, maybe like fantasizing or envisioning, or really like thinking a lot about this emotional fulfillment that you would like to experience within your life. So with the Seven of Water that's right next to this, I see that there is some like release that needs to take place. So, you know, I feel like you know where it is that you want to go, or what it is that you want to experience on an emotional level. But there's almost like, you know, maybe some things that, you know, you were confused about. Like there was maybe some other things that were in the way that kind of like were clouding your judgment, or if, you know, like you figuring out exactly where it is that you wanted to be with this emotional wish and emotional fulfillment. Like, you know, there was like some confusion here on, you know, maybe some things that took place in the past. You know, I almost feel like an energy of like, you know, protecting yourself in a way, you not wanting to experience, you know, like maybe some of the more negative things that have taken place in the past, but still wanting to have this emotional fulfillment, but then having like some kind of like fear or negative emotion that's also like getting in the way of this. But I see that, like, you know, you are getting more clear about what it is that you want and what it is that you don't want. And, you know, these fish are like kind of flowing away from you. So to me, this is, you know, letting go of the emotional things that, you know, caused pain or made you feel confused or unsure about what it is that you want. So, you know, kind of going through like this transformative time where, you know, you're able to release, you know, this like fear or anxiety, about like some emotional, you know, connections or things that, you know, you've experienced in the past and want to experience here in the future. So, you know, this is really good. I feel like, you know, you could be, like going through some kind of alchemy. You may be, you know, maybe I'm getting like even crying, sometimes, which is a form of alchemy. It is a form of release. So, if you do feel like you need to cry or, release some of these negative emotions or things that have taken place in the past, by all means do that, because it's really going to help you. You're going to feel so much better. I mean, as you can see here, the next card that we have is the Ace of Air. So this is clarity. This is clear thinking. This is clear communication. This is, finding the truth. And I feel like, here you have these wishes, here you have, these things that you need to release or let go of. And then after that, after you do this, you get this clarity and, you are able to kind of really focus in on these wishes and this emotional fulfillment without like this negative stuff that was attached to it. So underneath the deck, I had the Eight of Water. So this could be walking away from a situation. Maybe, that is connected to this Seven of Water. So maybe, there's a certain situation or a certain relationship that you've been attached to or that you have been in that has caused some pain or hurt or some confusion. And so, when you have this release and find this clarity, you may discover that you need to walk away from something. And this doesn't mean that you have to like physically leave a relationship or physically leave a location or a circumstance. This could be it could be that, but it could also be you just walking away from the negative thinking, the negative things that are attached to this wish fulfillment and these like fears and doubts that you might have attached to that. This is kind of like walking away from that like frame of mind or that way of thinking. And you might have to actually leave a relationship or leave some people that are in your life or circumstances that are in your life because they are no longer serving your highest good, and maybe they kind of bring in this confusion. And so you're coming to the realization and the clear knowing that, you have to kind of remove yourself from those people or those situations. Also in the Eight of Water here, what stands out to me is I'll just pull it up here. All of the chakras that are lit up here, and then on top we have the third eye, and behind him is a full moon. So this full moon in Pisces could really be significant for you. This could be the time where you are releasing a lot of these emotions. I also see here the dolphins behind him, so it could be that after you're able to release these things that you experience the coming together of like some kind of love or some kind of a relationship. Also, the hands here are really standing out to me. If you can see, like he's got like the chakras in his hands and like that energy is coming through his hands. So you may be even like a healer, like you can heal with your hands. You may do some kind of Reiki or something like that. But I'm really getting that, by releasing these emotions, you're able to clear the blockages here within the chakra system and get up into like these higher chakras and connect more to your higher self and your spiritual team, and just even like your intuition and stuff like that. So I think that is really great. And just like maybe a tip for releasing some of these things that are no longer serving you emotionally, maybe tomorrow when we have the full moon, you can write some of that stuff down on paper, that, I would like to release this, and this, and then maybe, run it underwater and let it kind of disintegrate, or you can get rid of it however you'd like. You can bury it or whatever, but maybe actually physically writing it down like on a piece of paper And then you might even want to write down, the things that you would like. So the things you would like to let go of and release, and then the things that you would like to manifest or experience, coming into the month of September. So, that could be a good like exercise that you can try. So I'm going to take 3 cards on the person that you could be dealing with. Spirit, can I get 3 cards for the person that Scorpio could be dealing with here in the beginning of September? 3 cards for who Scorpio is dealing with or thinking of. Okay. So the first card I have is the Maiden. 3 cards for who Scorpio is dealing with. Okay, the second card I have is Self. The third card I have is the 4. I think this is, okay, the 4 of Earth. Okay. And then underneath the deck, I have Wisdom. So the person that, you could be dealing with could really be, let me see here. I'm getting that they could be in a relationship right now with somebody, and this person could be a little bit younger. I'm getting to that if that is the case, if this person that you're dealing with is in some kind of a relationship with another person, maybe this is like a karmic relationship of some sort, to really focus in on yourself during this time. Really focus in on your healing, on meditation, on unconditional love for yourself. Because what I'm kind of getting here is that this person is kind of stuck or like chained up into something in the material world right now. So this could be a relationship that they're in with somebody. This could be some kind of a job that they're in, or just some kind of a situation or circumstance that they're in right now, that they just cannot get out of at the moment. And they are going to have to go in, and figure out the best way to get out of this situation, through through self-realization. But I don't know if that is going to happen here during the first half of September. I see that they are like really still very involved in whatever this situation is that they're in. And so underneath the deck, we had the Wisdom card. So, this person might really have to go within. We see this here with the Self card, and really figure out, where it is they need to go or what it is they need to do. And they're kind of having a hard time doing this at the moment. This card also reminds me of Virgo, and so we are in Virgo season now. So this kind of just signifies, during the sign of Virgo, so that's like mostly through the month of September, that this person, is going to still kind of be in this situation. I don't... they're having to figure this out and go through this cycle and go through, whatever it is that they're experiencing in order to realize or figure out if it's the right thing for them or not. I'm also getting that there could be like some kind of like spirit guide that they are connected to, like an animal spirit or something like that. That is kind of helping to guide them in this situation. I also see like the birds here and the rabbit here, so they could be in some way connecting with like animals. But I just feel like this person is really kind of like stuck in a situation. I'm not sure. I almost feel like they could be in a situation that involves another person, And this other person is not a bad person. This person is actually, very nice, and maybe very loving. And so it's hard for them to maybe break away from whatever this is, whether they feel like it's right for them or not. They don't want to like hurt this person, is kind of what I'm getting here. So I'm going to pull a card from the Blessed Bee. What other messages do we have for the sign of Scorpio for the beginning of September 2018? Okay, so a blessing on a resolution and a blessing of the waters. So, I'm getting that, this blessing on a resolution could have something to do with you mainly, because I think that, you are experiencing, some things that might be a little emotionally difficult. And if you can see, like, this woman has, some armor on here and she's holding the sword. So she's like protected. She's kind of guarded. She's, protecting herself against, some of these negative emotions or things that have taken place in the past. And she's not wanting to be hurt by these things again. And she's almost like, this sword she's got, like if I have to, get somebody, I will, is like kind of what I'm picking up there, like very on guard, and a little maybe defensive. So, I mean, I guess this could be you or the other person, but I'm really, seeing that, you are kind of on guard right now and protecting yourself, and that, you are going to have to, like, release some emotions or feelings that you have as part of this resolution, so that maybe you can remove some of this armor. I think that the beginning half of September is really going to be about you focusing on self-care and self-love for you. And you may have to kind of disconnect from this other person that you might be thinking about or connected to in some way, because I think that they are kind of going through something else at this time. So the card under the deck was a blessing of the waters, which is interesting because I had all of these water cards for you, and I did mention the full moon in Pisces. So this very well could be an emotional time for you. You could be having some really deep emotions that are coming up to the surface that you kind of need to deal with. And that could be a little bit difficult, but it's all about, bringing that stuff up to the surface, kind of sitting with it for a minute. To be honest, these last couple of days have been kind of up and down for me as well emotionally. And, the other day, like, I realized, okay, I am sad about this specific situation. This is the reason why it makes me sad. And, I just kind of like sat there and talked to myself and acknowledged the fact that, I was sad because of this. And then I kind of stated, like, what I would like to change about that situation. And I did cry a little bit, and it made me feel better. And I think that just kind of like communicating with yourself, or like talking with, your guides or your angels, about maybe some of these emotions that you're experiencing is going to help you. And if you need to release and cry, or even if you feel like, you're frustrated and you need to like scream, grab your pillow and scream into your pillow, like do that, really do that. Release these things that are built up and kind of like holding you back in a way. And I feel like it's really going to help you get a clearer mind, and it's going to help you to be able to connect more. And I feel like, almost like connecting to, your divine purpose and the things that, you are capable of doing. Because I really feel like, you have some like strong healing abilities here, and that you might just be kind of blocked from knowing that or experiencing it because of some of these emotional things that you need to be able to release. So I'm going to pull a couple of the Lightworker Oracle cards. What messages do we have for Scorpio for the first half of September 2018? What other messages does Scorpio need to know for the first half? Okay, so I have spiritual service and second ray of wisdom. So spiritual service is, I feel like, if you are working on some new things, like healing or, really trying to discover ways that you can be able to be service to others, that's really going to help you during the first half of September. Usually when, you go through this spiritual awakening and you kind of go through this ascension process, you learn that it's not service to self anymore. It's service to others, and that's just something that naturally happens. And so you could be wanting to start to have like service to others. You might be wanting to put yourself out there in some way, and trying to connect with others and maybe help them in certain areas. And I think that when you do that, it's really going to bring in, some kind of abundance into your life, some kind of, emotional fulfillment you're going to receive by putting that service out there to others. And then we have here the second ray of wisdom. And what really stands out to me in this card is the woman that is behind her, which looks just like her. So to me, this is your higher self. What I'm getting is that you are being guided by your higher self. These things that you're going through are taking place for a reason. So whenever you're feeling kind of down or upset about certain things, just know that you are kind of being guided to go in a certain direction and to experience certain things so that you can get yourself into that higher vibrational, place, and so that you can be of spiritual service to others, and you can be the healer that you are and experience this emotional fulfillment. So just know that, your higher team is working with you. Really try to connect with your higher self and know that the things that you are experiencing are going to not be around for long. You will get through this and you will be able to experience this emotional fulfillment. So I hope that these messages help, Scorpio. I will see you more towards the middle of September to do the end of September readings. Also, I've been putting out some other videos lately. I have like an Ascension series that I started. I'm going to be trying to do that more throughout the month. Also, I'm running a special for my personal readings, $33. My readings usually run about 30 to 40 minutes. So if you're interested in doing that, you can email me at inspiredalignment33@gmail.com. I'm not quite sure how fast that's going to book up, but I'd like to get to as many people as I can. So I hope that you have a good first half of September, and I will see you soon. Take care, Scorpio.